In 1991, the Capital Region was in the grip of a housing crisis. Interest rates were climbing, the job market was tight, and rents were out of control. That's when the visionary nonprofit developer John Spencer decided enough was enough, and a new path had to be forged.
We actually started out with very humble beginnings in the basement of a church, and the low-income housing tax credit had just been introduced as this financing mechanism to support affordable housing production. And we've stayed true to that mission over the years.
What started in a church basement grew into the Housing Association of Nonprofit Developers, HAND. The core belief was simple. If you want to build homes, you first have to build partnerships.
We needed to have everyone at the table, right? So the developer has to be talking to the banker and the architect and the resident services provider, and all of these groups really have a very important role to play.
So the cross-sector collaboration is key to making individual families thrive and communities thrive.
Over the next 3 decades, the organization grew, and so did its mission.
Most of our early board members, while they were based in the DMV, did work across the river and further south. If you were a Virginia developer, you had to be invested in knowing the folks in Richmond who were approving your tax credits. If you were in Maryland, you needed to know what was happening in other parts of the state.
And as we've expanded beyond DC, from Baltimore all the way to Richmond, it has become a regional player and a regional thought leader in all aspects of housing.
Then came a game changer. HAND launched the Housing Indicator Tool, the first of its kind in the nation. For the first time, advocates had reliable, trackable data they could put directly in front of elected officials. No more guessing, no more excuses, just accountability.
Prior to the HID tool, there was a lot of anecdotal information provided to our city leaders. Having this information, I think, has been a game changer.
Because housing doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's connected to income, to healthcare, to education, to opportunity. And in 2025, the organization's new name said it all. This was Housing and everything that comes with it.
The name Housing and really resonates with me. It's really about going beyond bricks and mortar and thinking about the well-being of our communities, from environmental, social, economic well-being to all of the above. Right now we have multiple crises. We have a housing affordability crisis. We have an energy affordability crisis. We have a healthcare affordability crisis. And ultimately, affordable housing has an ability to be a vehicle for social change and much more. And this name really leans into that.
And at the center of it all, a commitment to racial equity, because the housing crisis didn't happen by accident. It was engineered through redlining, disinvestment, and decades of policy that locked out communities of color. Undoing that damage requires more than good intentions. It requires action, investment, and an honest reckoning with history.
It's important for every member of Housing And to be part of this larger racial equity journey. And Housing And has done an incredible job leading the way and ensuring racial equity is embedded in its training and capacity building programs.
Today, Housing And is a force. More than 500 member organizations, more than 30 sectors, one region, one mission.
I've always been impressed by the depth and the breadth of the people who participate at the Housing And annual meeting. Not just the keynote speakers, but by who comes from and from where they come, so that they can help shape the mission of affordable housing and helping the broad spectrum of what residents need.
Housing And is showing up by really leaning in to the community that it has created.
35 years in, the work is not done. If anything, the stakes are higher.
We have to be part of the greater mission to make sure there's enough housing for all across the country, or else our folks, the ones with the fewer resources, are always going to be the ones with the short end of the stick.
This work is personal for me. My parents came to this country 60 years ago as immigrants, and despite having no money, they gave us access to good schools, healthy community where we developed friends, had health care nearby. They had good paying jobs that were close by, and that was really all of it unlocked by that stable home.
For 35 years, Housing And has been the convener, the advocate, the catalyst. The partnerships are stronger, the data is sharper, the movement is bigger, and the mission endures, because a home is not just a structure, it's where a community begins.